Amen. I was telling Sherry today that when I came in, I remember when you started over there and you had I said, didn't this room used to be bigger? And she said, yeah, we made office. And then I came in and I saw this sanctuary and how you use your building. I cannot tell you how exciting it is that Salisbury Bible Fellowship does all they do for the name and for the love of Jesus. You're a beacon in a dark world, and I have I've known about you guys for about 7 years, and I love partnering with you on such a deep level. So you're one of our drop-off locations, and you collect shoebox gifts every year for 8 days from the Monday before Thanksgiving to the Monday that whole week, 8 days, you collect shoeboxes, and then you have to take them over to Providence Presbyterian. So last year, our Southern Del Mar team, which is Sussex County in Delaware, and from the Maryland line to the Virginia line, as far over as Dorchester County, we call that whole area Southern Del Mar. And so Southern Del Mar is an area that collected shoeboxes last year, and a total in your area collected 9,116 shoeboxes. And you're like, that's a big number, and that is a big number. But when you add it to all that are in our region, so our region is Maryland, Delaware, D.C., and Virginia, and we together collected over 560,000 shoeboxes just in our area. And then I think, well, there are 14 regions just like that around the country. Those 14 regions altogether added up to 9.6 million shoeboxes. And then we have other countries around the world that also collect shoebox gifts. And that total was 11.3 million shoeboxes. So I get to do this for a living. My name is Connie Zinn. I'm a regional manager with Operation Christmas Child. I love being on the road and traveling with full circle speakers. I love coming to churches and serving with people like Sherry. I love that because most of the time I'm sitting behind a computer looking at spreadsheets, looking at demographics, looking at trainings, getting people to fill out paperwork. And so when I get on the road, I'm loving it. So I love coming to Salisbury. It is so beautiful. You have such a nice town here, and we're so grateful to be here. But today you get to hear about one of the 220 million shoeboxes that have been collected through Operation Christmas Child over the last 31 years. Today you're going to hear from Annalyn Elliott. She's going to come up and she's going to share her story of receiving a shoebox gift.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Annalyn Elliott, and I am one child out of 220 million who received an Operation Christmas Child shoebox gift since 1993. I was born and raised in the Philippines, growing up in a poor family of 5 children and a parents. We live in a tiny bamboo house with only one light bulb, no stove, no running water. We use wood for cooking. And sometimes we went to bed with an empty stomach and eat bread in the morning before going to school. My parents worked so hard, but they only made $5 a day, but still not enough for our daily needs. When my mom became a Christian, she would take us to church. Every first day of school, my mom would buy enough school supplies for us. One pencil had to last the whole year. When I was a child, my favorite memory verse is in Psalms 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Growing up as a child, I did not receive gifts on Christmas Day or even on my own birthday. One day, when I was 10 years old, my pastor invited us to a very special event at the church, where my little sister and I received our own Operation Christmas Child shoebox gift. As I entered the church, I saw these kids lined up and sitting on the floor. And when my teacher handed me the shoebox gift, the beautiful and colorful red and green shoebox gift, my heart started leap with so much joy. And when she handed it to me, I was so happy and excited to open it, and the teacher started to count 3, 2, 1. As I opened my shoebox gift, I saw a lot of items inside. My shoebox was full. I have the hygiene items, the toothbrush, and the washcloth, and I got a pencil, more than 2 pencils, and a stuffed toy, I remember when I got it out in my shoebox, was it smelled so good, and I hugged it so tight, and I knew that it was new because of the tag, and it's only mine. And in the bottom of my shoebox gift, I saw a full pack of crayon. In the classroom, I sometimes borrowed pencil or crayon or even a paper in my classmates. And deep in my heart, I prayed, I desired to have a full box of crayons, just like the ones my classmates had. But my parents couldn't afford something like that for me. And God brought the shoebox gift to show me that He loves me. He sees my heart, and He cares for me. My shoebox gift helped me to experience God's faithfulness in a tangible way when He provided me my desires through the colorful pack of crayons. But my story did not end there. Receiving a shoebox gift was my first step on starting me on a journey of discipleship. I was given the opportunity to be a teacher of the greatest journey. And also, when I was receiving my own shoebox gift, I have the greatest gift, where I can see about who Jesus is, and how to read the Bible. And so I was given the opportunity to be a teacher of the greatest journey. The greatest journey is a 12-lesson discipleship program course, where each child, after receiving the shoebox gift, they are participated back to the greatest journey. The greatest journey has a 12 lesson. And after completing the 12 lesson, we will have a huge celebration where families and friends were invited to watch the graduation ceremony, where each child will receive a gift certificate, and a Bible on their own language. As you can see, the Bible is so beautiful and so colorful. Even me, I'm not a child, but my eyes is just lightning. Like, it's so beautiful. So each child will receive a Bible on their own language. In 2013, Typhoon Yolanda hit the Philippines. 14 million people were devastated by the storm, including my family. Every year, when the rain came and water would rise up to our bamboo floor. But this time, our house was totally collapsed. We were losing hope. We don't know how to get a house to build again. But we trusted God. And God says He will never leave us nor forsake us. And that very moment, we trusted God in everything. In 2016, I came to Alaska. Yes, I am from Alaska. And 2016, I came to Alaska, and I have my husband and my 2 kids, my 7-year-old and my 5-year-old children. And I am a homeschool mom. And 2017, the following year, I began getting involved in Operation Christmas Child. And I am so amazed of how God brought this story to me. And now, coming to United States in Alaska, God continually doing the story. He keep adding and adding to my story, not just to my story, but in each child's story. And He keep adding me, and I now here in America, I pack my own shoebox gift. So I became a project leader of our church in 2017, and I am so grateful to pack my own shoebox gift. And one of my favorite items to pack in my shoebox gift is a letter. Although I did not receive a letter in my own shoebox when I was 10, but my favorite thing to put in my shoebox is a letter. You know why? Because I love that child to know that there is a Father in heaven who look for that child, who look for them, and there is God who loves them. Even though in surroundings he feel like alone, and through that letter, that there is God who loves them. And my children their favorite is to pack the shoebox gift. And I have my 7-year-old daughter, and she is just my reminder. And she keeps telling me, Mom, did you pack crayons in your shoebox? Remember that, because you received that when you were a child, so you have to put a crayons in your shoebox. Don't forget that. And she loves packing shoeboxes. And I am so thankful for what the Lord has given me. This is the story that God has given me. In 2023, just last year, we visited the Philippines. The main thing we went visit to the Philippines is I have still my family there. And also my sister was in Japan, and it has been 6 years that we haven't seen each other, because she was in Japan and I was in Alaska. And so she went back home to the Philippines, and I went back home to the Philippines to have a big family reunion. But we experienced God's tangible way, because my pastor in the Philippines invited us to an outreach event in the Philippines. And we said, yes, of course, we love that. And our children experienced that, and he saw that eternal impact of a shoebox gift to each child. And as my children handing out the shoebox gift to each child, and they were just happy too. Like, both sides are happy, the one who distribute and the one who receive it. And that is very nice or delightful to see, to both sides of a shoebox. Behind the shoebox, there is a lot of going on. The greatest journey, and how that child received Jesus Christ and have a decision to follow Christ. And so, we're done with the 50 and 75 children, and there was 2 siblings that came in to the outreach event. But we are done. I mean, we are cleaning up and everything. And there was 2 siblings, the sister and the brother. And for some reason, they were late, but they were invited, but they were late, so they came there. So we handed out 1 shoebox for a sister, which is a girl. And we don't have anything for a boy to give a shoebox gift. And we were so our heart was like, we don't want to disappointed this little boy. So we handed out the shoebox that says it's for a girl. And so without any hesitation, okay, Lord, this is you. We see the shoebox outside, it says a girl, but we don't know what's inside. So we handing it out to a little boy. And when he's handing this, when he hold the shoebox gift, his smiles went up to his ears. I tell you, he was happy. He was so happy. And when he opened it, and I was just looking at him like that. And when he opened it, his smiles went up to his ears. And he got it out, the stuffed toy Nemo. And all the inside is all orange. How can you imagine that? Only God knows what's inside. And I know what's outside is for girl, but I don't know what's inside that shoebox. And he got it in the Nemo stuffed toy, and he was so happy. You can see to his eyes that so much joy when he got that stuffed toy. And I am so grateful to be a part of this ministry that God has brought me, and God connected me from I was receiving my own shoebox through the greatest journey teacher, and now encourage each and everyone through the story that God has given me. And I am so grateful for each one of you. And when we pack our shoebox gift, let's have fun. Let's have fun and make personalized in our shoebox. And when we pack a shoebox, we'll see if it is full. It is full, and let's have fun and pack a shoebox gift. And if you don't know about Operation Christmas Child shoebox gift, we have someone that you can talk to. And I tell you, this is amazing. I am so, so grateful for what Operation Christmas Child brought to each child, because our goal is very simple: to bring the good news and great joy to the ends of the earth. And we thank you for this afternoon that sharing my story, and I hope each one of you was encouraged in this. Thank you.
We have the opportunity that I'm here as an Operation Christmas Child representative, and you have a shoebox recipient who has also been a Greatest Journey teacher. Mm-hmm. This is Stump the OCC person. If you have any questions that you've ever had, this is the time. You have an open forum. We're going to just open the floor if you have any questions for either Annalyn or for myself. Yes, ma'am. As far as I have heard, there is no increase in the $10.
Okay.
And remember, just remember, if you're budgeting for that $10 and that's what you've budgeted and it goes to $12 or what, send your $10. It is a suggested donation. We will take all your shoeboxes. We asked for that so that we never have shoeboxes in America that need to be sent. So it's a suggested donation. We do like for everyone to do the suggested donation, but I have not heard of any increase this year. Great question.
What would you say the top 3 gifts that the children were most excited about?
You know what? Children doesn't have any specific items because they love everything. I mean, they love everything, but personally, I like the stuffed toy and personalized letter, and I love everything. I mean, I love everything, but if God told you to put something that for you, I don't think so, it's for a girl or it's for a boy, something like that, and prayed for it. And so, yeah. Did I answer that?
Yes.
Okay.
It is so important to pray over your shoebox.
Yes.
No matter what you decide to put in, if you're like, why on earth is God telling me to put this in a shoebox? You see, I've heard stories, but I got to witness one. So I was in Rwanda. I've been to 3 countries where they've received shoeboxes, and as a boy opened his shoebox, remember, Central Africa, it was like 90 degrees in the room, sweat is rolling down, and he opens his shoebox, and in it are 2 huge winter insulated gloves. That's all that's the majority of his shoebox. And we all kind of went, oh no. And he jumped up and went, I'm the goalie on my soccer team and now I have professional gloves. He put them on and ran around the room and he was just so excited. Of all the children there, he was the goalie for their soccer team and he got the gift because somebody put huge winter insulated gloves. Now, that's one I saw, and I'll tell you a more recent story. I was on a call with somebody from one of the island nations. I'm going to think it was Grenada, but it could have been another of our island nations. And he said that he was at an event, and a little boy walked in and went, you said we were getting gifts. I know I'm going to get a suit today. A suit. And so the adults there were like, oh, he's going to be disappointed. I've seen lots of shoeboxes, have never seen a suit. And so in each of our outreach events, they present the gospel at least 3 different ways. And they present the gospel, and then they count down 3, 2, 1, and open your shoebox. And when it came time, he kept his closed, and he looked, and then he opened it, and guess what was in his shoebox? You're right, a suit. The first time the volunteers had ever seen that, he pulled it out and it fit him to a T. And what happened is the person that did that put their information, they got to connect with them, and they said in their communication back with this little boy and his family was, we didn't know why we felt we needed to pack this, and we had to rubber band it and we had to fit it in, but God told us to put this suit in, and the right child at the right time. So pray over your shoeboxes. It is what you put in is what God would have you put on your heart. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any numbers of any kind that show a percentage of those who respond to the teaching of Jesus Christ through these boxes?
That is a great question. She asked if there's a percentage of children that receive. So I'm going to do what I call OCC math. So we do not have numbers at outreach events. I was a children's minister for about 10 years in northern Delaware, and my first year I had 32 salvations, and I thought I had done it right. I was amazed, 32 salvations. I didn't realize 27 of them were first graders who would have said they like purple Kool-Aid. And so, do you love Jesus? They all love Jesus. They did not know the ramifications behind that. So it's not bow your head and raise your hand. So the numbers I'm going to talk about are through our 12 lessons of discipleship. We take hard numbers from them. We get them the materials, and their job is, if they ever want them again, is they have to report back. So I'll do that. You with me so far? So last year, we collected way above our normal. We collected 11.3 million. That's the biggest we've ever collected. So I'm going to use the term, I have not done it for 11 million, but I've done it for the 10 million we used to collect. So we're going to go back a year. We're just going to go back 1 year in 2023. We collected about 10 million shoeboxes. And through the Greatest Journey program, we had over 2 million salvations recorded. So if you think about that, 1 in every 5 shoeboxes leads to a salvation experience. That we have hard numbers of teachers that have been trained and have been taking attendance, and they know this. So think about 1 in 5 shoeboxes results in a salvation. And then it just multiplies. We call it multiplying. But yes, ripples out. It multiplies from there, because they say for every shoebox, about 7 people hear the gospel. So think of it as 11 million. So 77 million people are going to hear the gospel because of this. Great question. So hard numbers, yes, I'm sure there are hard numbers. And if you email OCC info, like info@occ@samaritan.org, and ask that question, they have harder numbers than I do when I'm traveling on the road. Though I know you did 9,119 shoeboxes in this area. Those are the numbers I keep in my head, but they have the precise numbers. But I look at it as about 1 in 5. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
You mentioned putting letters in shoeboxes. Have you heard any responses?
No, I haven't yet. I'm still waiting patiently. Yes, yeah.
So we barely scratch the surface of children around the world every year. Even if we added all our 220 million, that's not even all the kids that are in the world right now. So have I been to outreach events where kids are on the outside looking in? Every outreach event I've ever been to, there's a group of kids outside that didn't get shoeboxes. So yes, there is a great need. There's a high need for them. But the greatest thing that we're seeing with our shoeboxes now and our national teams, so in case this is how it happens. There are local teams right here, like I talked about the Southern Del Mar team, and I have 17 teams in Maryland and Delaware and a couple in Virginia, and we have 44 teams in our region. Well, they also have those internationally. And in order to receive shoeboxes in a country, they have to have a network of local believers that are in charge. So they have to have their volunteers there. When they have their volunteers there and they're structured, then they can receive the shoeboxes and start distributing them. I think we have the ultimate easy job. We just have to buy things and put them in a shoebox. Here's what our national team, so like Sherry's on the team, the counterpart to her overseas has to decide what village gets shoeboxes and which doesn't. They have to decide which church that applied will get 150 shoeboxes and which 5 churches won't. I think they have the harder job. I pray for them all the time. That's a tough job. And once a church receives the shoeboxes, say Salisbury Bible Fellowship was a receiving church, they got shoeboxes. They couldn't invite just the kids of Salisbury Bible Fellowship. The requirement is they have to invite kids from the community. So I asked my friend from Uganda, who was sitting at a table at breakfast one day, and I said, tell me a story. And this is the story they told. The ministry partner invited kids from the community and kids from her church to her outreach event. And one little boy was Muslim, and his father went with him because, yes, you can give my kid a gift. I don't know what this church thing is about. So he went and he watched, and his son received a gift, and his son was amazed, and he said, I want to talk to the leader. Any of you in charge know that if a parent comes up to you and says, I want to talk to the leader, it's usually not the easiest conversation. And so he said, are you the leader? And she said, yes, sir, I'm the leader. How can I help you? He said, I know not all the children in your church was invited to this event and got shoebox gifts like this. Why did you include my son? And without missing a heartbeat, she said, Jesus includes everyone. Of course we're going to include your son. And the father said, thank you. And he took his son and he went home. But I'm a Paul Harvey, the rest of the story kind of girl. Here's the rest of the story. That father came back the next Sunday to church with his wife and with his son. They are all now believers in Jesus Christ because Jesus includes everyone, and that church included them in the outreach. So you ask about, is there a need? There's always a need for more. But it's not, God knows. But it's a balance too, because we can't overwhelm our international teams. It has just been a perfect number. We've never had a year where teams have said, no, stop sending them because we can't take them in. And we've never had a year that they've said, oh my goodness, you didn't send us near enough. It has always, God just has worked it out for 31 years perfectly. Great question. Any other questions? Mr. Try. That is a great question. The chance of somebody from like your local church going is not never, but as slim as possible. But what we do is we send our high-level volunteers. If we had a local area team leader called an area coordinator, then they could be invited in the next few years. So there's an area coordinator in Dover. Her name is Danny Wagner. She is the area coordinator for Central Delaware. She has been invited to Paraguay this summer. So she's going to go and get to see those shoeboxes handed out. We limit the number. We even limited not to, even Sherry, for all that she does, she's never going to be on the invite list in the position that she's in, but if she changes positions, maybe. Sorry, that was just my recruitment for Sherry. But we limit it so much because Samaritan's Purse Heartbeat is local to local connection. We never want children overseas to think these shoebox gifts are from Americans. We want them to know these shoeboxes are from Jesus. And so we limit the number of people. And when we go, I'm getting to go this summer. I get to go to Kenya, and I get to hand out shoeboxes to children in Kenya this summer as part of my job. And the whole time I'm there, not once will I publicly share the gospel with children. It is the local person. We want the local people to share Jesus with their children, so when they have a question about Jesus, they're not saying, oh, that foreigner told me. They're saying, oh, Joe's mom or, Ahmed's mom is the one who shared. We need to go ask her the question about Jesus. She's right here. We need to ask Pastor Sojo the question. He's right here. So we do local to local connection. So it's a slim possibility of that happening. But if you do want to connect with somebody who's been, connect with me. I'd be happy to come back after June and share with you what I saw while I was there. And then you had a question. Okay.
How do they come, and then how are they trained to do the ministry, or kids are trained?
That amazing questions, and thank you. If nothing else, OCC overtrains everyone. We want to make sure that people are prepared. So our national leadership team identifies ministry partners. So they would identify, for lack of a better term, I'm going to say First Baptist Church of Kenya-Gwandan. Like they recognize that church or Calvary Church or whatever church it is, they're going to recognize this church is going to be a ministry partner. Then they go to the pastor and say, who is going to represent you at the training? Who is going to come and be trained? So then they have to send a team from their church to come and be trained in how to share the gospel with children. I was a missionary in Nigeria, West Africa, and they don't have children's Sunday school. They don't do anything for kids up until they get to be youth, and then they have a youth group for like 13 to 30 because they feel it's not good to invest in kids. So we have taught a generation of teachers how to share the gospel with children in a child-friendly way. So they have to go to receive the training just to hand out the shoeboxes. Then there's a separate training like Anna Lynn had to go to. She had to go to be the Greatest Journey teacher. So she had to go and learn how to teach the Greatest Journey before their church could ever be given the materials for the Greatest Journey. So there's a lot of training that is involved before the materials are handed over. We want to set people up for success, give them, overtrain them, teach them everything that they need to know about sharing the gospel with children and how to disciple children before we hand over the materials. Did that answer your question? Go ahead. Great question. So I'll let Anna Lynn sit down. They may have run out of questions for you. I'm gonna let her sit down. But I will answer that question. So the $10 is not just shipping. $10 gets it from your hand. It pays for the cardboard boxes that you have here. It pays for the tractor trailer at Providence. It pays for the processing center to get and process. It pays for the shipping container to get them overseas. But it also pays for the greatest gift. So the greatest gift, can you hold that up real quick, Anna Lynn? The greatest gift? In the gift. No, the greatest gift. The booklet, it comes in their language. The $10 covers that for every child. It also covers all the training for teachers that have this, and it takes it from the hands of the donor, put it in the cardboard box, getting it to the central drop-off, all the way to the ministry partners taking them to the village that they hand them out. So now, the $6 is for the Greatest Journey. It sends children through the Greatest Journey. Not every child goes through the Greatest Journey because we give 2 to 4-year-old boxes. This may not be the most valuable class for a 2-year-old. I don't know. Jancy, you're the gay. But it is for older children. So some of the children don't go to the class for age appropriateness. But we do, you can sit down. Thank you. Thank you, my Vanna. But we do have a special push one time a year where we'll do like 48-hour or 72-hour giving to the Greatest Journey. And the last 2 years, we've raised over $100,000 each year to give to the Greatest Journey. So it's $6 per book. I like to pay online, and I go ahead and do the Greatest Journey because it's a Starbucks drink. It's one meal at McDonald's. It's not even a meal at McDonald's anymore. It's half a meal at McDonald's. Like, those are the kind of things, that extra $6. There is a push, and so obviously I'm hearing we need to push stronger. If you're not hearing the push, I feel like we push too much for people to give. So I'm glad that you feel like we're not doing it strongly enough so I can push a little bit harder for the Greatest Journey. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. But yes, there is a special program that we added on to if you're buying something in a store, in our website, will you want to do the Greatest Journey? We also have if you want to give the Greatest Journey once a month, it can be a recurring charge on your credit card. And so you don't even have to think about it. You can send 12 cards a year, $6 a month, those kind of things. We have those kind of programs going on. And people are investing more and more into the Greatest Journey that way. Did that answer your question? Great. Yes, ma'am. So, that $10 we don't put anything back in the box after they leave here. So it does pay for the person to take it out at the processing center, and we give them to local ministries around our 8 processing centers. So if somebody puts toothpaste in and we have to take it out, it goes to a local ministry, and it does pay for the processing center to process it to make sure that they can get through customs. So the reason we've asked for toothpaste and candy and seeds and, it's all about our customs, trying to clear through customs faster than we've ever cleared. Like, we want to be able to clear customs, but what has happened in the past is toothpaste came through, the customs said, open a box, the toothpaste was expired, you're giving expired gifts to our children, and the whole container of 7,500 shoeboxes had to leave the country, had to go to another country. So we said, fine, no more toothpaste. I know you're thinking, toothpaste is good, but we're not thinking the fact that some of these shoeboxes aren't even open until October or November the next year. So all year long, we're handing out those 11.3 million shoeboxes. So, all right. Yes, ma'am.
So whenever the Bible in their language,
Mm-hmm. Right.
so what happens with that? Because I know they got shoeboxes.
Right. So there is always a national language, and then there are tribal languages, and there are dialects to tribal languages. So Operation Christmas Child definitely has all the translations in the national language. They have translated into some tribal languages, and they are working with other. We translate very little. We get translation team. We work with the people that are already doing that and target them. So yes, there are some people groups that if their language is different, but they live in a country, say they live in a country that is French speaking, but they speak another tribal language, we get them French, and then they can work on their own, somebody in their village speaks French and their language. So do we have it in every language around the world? No. Are we trying to get that? Yes. But there will always be someone who can read the material to the people if they're not. We even have the Himba people in one of our African countries. They're an oral culture, so we have solar-powered MP3 players that tell the stories over and over. The greatest gift, the greatest journey, all the lessons are done that so they can solar-powered listen to them because they don't have books. So we've done it in Braille. So now our greatest journey is also in Braille. So the blind schools now have those. We're trying to reach out in all those. Now, your questions don't have to end, but I'm gonna talk to you a little bit more. Is that all right? I'm pretty funny. You guys think I'm funny yet? Barbara's like, well, you haven't been today. I will be. But I want to tell you the most important thing that you can do. You're people of action. It is Tuesday afternoon. You could be anywhere, and you chose to be here. You're people of action. Try. I know you're a man of action. I know your church is a church of action because I've seen it in play. I know what this church is doing in this community. I know you're people of action. So I'm going to give you some actions to do when you leave here, okay? No matter what age you are. You ready? First thing you can do, pray. Pray for your local area team. We need a local area leader. We need an area coordinator that will be in this area. I try to lead from Columbia, Maryland. I don't lead well because I don't live here. I don't know when not to travel on 13. You all do, right? Like you're giggling like, yeah, I got caught one day. I now know not to travel during a certain time. I know we were in Lewis yesterday. I'm like, why is all this traffic? There was a marathon. Had I known there was a marathon, we would not have gone to Lewis yesterday. But those kind of things. We need local leaders. Know the local churches. Go to the Aldi and see their friends at Aldi, or go to the YMCA. They know people there. We need a local leader. So pray for this local area team. They did over 9,000 shoeboxes without a leader. Imagine if they had a leader. Imagine if we had people that were out talking to churches in the area. We had more people on the team. Imagine if that's happening. Once again, they're already doing 9,000 without people. So pray for the local area team. Pray for our region. So our region and the staff that we're wise in leading our 44 area teams. Pray for our nation, our national teams, our headquarters staff. Pray that we're going in the right direction. Pray for our international partners as they have to decide who gets shoeboxes and who doesn't. Pray for their safety. Sometimes they're like the OCC SEAL team. In Tanzania, they told us a story where they were driving through villages, and it was a Muslim area, and the first village said no, and 8 villages in, finally one village said, yes, you can bring them to us. And they realized, how are we going to get them to them? Because we can't drive through those other places that said no to this one place without this village getting, maybe raided one night. So how do we do it? So they were along the river. So at night, they loaded a canoe. It's like the OCC SEAL team. At night, they paddled up the canoe, did a sunrise. As soon as sun broke, they did an outreach event with that village, shared the gospel with that Muslim village, got back in their boats, went back down, visiting the village over and over. They are literally putting their lives on the line. Pray for our international folks. Okay? So first thing you can do is, okay, 3 of you answered. Do I need to be louder? Back row. Come on, ladies. You got it. Ready? What can you all do? Excellent. You all can pray. First thing you can do is pray. Second, if you've never packed a shoebox, and I'm guessing all of you have packed a shoebox, but if you've never packed a shoebox, I'm going to do this quickly. Pack one. Pack one shoebox and think of Anna Lynn as you pack. Think of Anna Lynn as a 10-year-old as you pack. As a 10-year-old who has never received a gift, that is going to church and now has a tangible way to say, God loves me in a special way, as she opened a box of crayons. One box of crayons she received in her lifetime. How many of you as parents have only bought one box of crayons for your kids in their lifetime? So, pack one shoebox. Now, the rest of you, I think, are shoebox packers. Some of you are veteran shoebox packers, and you've packed a few. How many of you have packed more than one shoebox? Perfect. Everybody in the room has packed more than one shoebox. Love that. I'm not going to ask you to pack any more than God has put on your heart. If He's put it on your heart to pack 5, pack 5. I'm not going to ask you to do this. But how many in this room have 5 friends that are not in this room? I'm glad. Black row, fantastic. You represented. Woo! Most of the adults don't raise their hands, so thank you. You have 5 people. How many of you feel joy when you pack a shoebox? You're like, man, my heart just makes me so happy. How many have your friends, have you told so they can have that joy as well? Tell 5 friends. Tell 5 friends Anna Lynn's story. You don't have to make anything up. You don't have to have anything. You've heard it about a child as a 10-year-old receiving that gift of I love how she says she snuggles it up to her neck and she hugs it every time. I've heard her tell this story 8 times. Every time she holds it like it's the first time. Tell her story. Say, why don't you pack a shoebox? So how many friends are you going to tell? 5. At least, I love that. If you have more than 5 friends, I don't want to call people out if they don't have more than 5 friends. But if you have more than 5 friends, tell all your friends. Tell everyone to pack a box, pack 1. I'm not asking them to pack 10 because I remember the commercial that was on, like, I'll tell 2 friends and they'll tell 2 friends and so on and so on. And the whole screen was filled with people using shampoo. Anybody remember that commercial? Just me. Thank you, Jancy. Love it. A couple of you remember that commercial. Yeah. I was a math teacher, so it's not additional growth, it's exponential growth. We need exponential growth so that no area team overseas goes, why didn't we get any? We want to make sure they have them when they're ready. Okay. So pray, pack one, ask 5 friends. Now, if you want to partner deeper with Operation Christmas Child locally here, there's a way to do that. See, in my back pocket, I have these little cards. If I flick it out now, I'm sure I'll flick out all my receipts and all that kind of stuff. But I have them. They're little cards. They look like this. Take one of these cards. Think about it. If you know somebody who's just the praying person at your church, you know if you have a problem, you're going to them to pray. We need people to pray for this area. Give them this card. Tell them to submit their information. Right now, I'm the person that's going to respond to them. And I'm going to say, great, how would you like to join the team? And I'll send them an application. We call it a selection process. You have to fill out an application. You have to have an interview. You have to have references checked. Like, we do some deep stuff for volunteers because we want to make sure you're the right person for the right place on the right team. And so if you're interested in deepening the partnership, being a prayer partner, being a church relations person, being a drop-off if you're outside of Salisbury, I don't know how far you guys have traveled, but I think we have a Pocomoke City. I'm hoping to add one tonight. I've talked to the pastor, and he is 90% on board. So now I just need them to start doing some paperwork. But we're looking for more churches to be drop-off locations. The easier it is for people to drop off shoeboxes, the more likely they'll drop off a shoebox. So we have lots of different positions on the team. If you're interested at all, if you're interested in just finding out more, take this, use your phone, it'll push the website, it'll take you right to, I want more information, then I'll give you a call, or I'll send you an email. All right? So you can partner. Now, you guys have hung on until the very bitter end. You haven't got up. You're not even restless. And the best thing that I can ask is that I'm going to ask Annalyn to come back up. And we're going to end our program as she blesses and prays for you in her heart language.
Let's stand together. Let's pray. Labing gamhanan og mahigugmaon na mga Dios, mapasalamaton kami o God sa imong pagkamaayo og nagpasalamat kami o Dios sa tanan nga imong gihatag sa mong mga kinabuhi. Ikaw magapanalangin sa tagsa-tagsa ka mga kinabuhi nga niya karon Lord God, nga naghatag og panahon alang lamang nga magministeryo diring dapita o Dios. Ikaw magapanalangin sa matag usa, Amahan, og dalaygon ka sa walay katapusan. Salamat, O God. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
And you are dismissed to go eat as many cookies as possible. Is that right? So there's water and cookies. We're going to be over here in this area if you have any more questions for us.